And we are back, dear viewers. So today we welcome to today's discussion on the transformative power of HR analytics as organizations worldwide strive to improve efficiency and align their workforce strategies with business objectives. HR analytics has emerged as a vital tool for unlocking data-driven insights, from enhancing employee performance and fostering transparency to streamlining decision-making. This technology is revolutionizing human resource management. But dear viewers, what does this mean? What does an analyst do? What are the benefits, challenges, and future prospects of adopting HR analytics? Dr. Shaikhah Alainati, an HRM specialist, joins us today to shed light on this critical subject. So welcome on board, Dr. Shaikhah. It's such a pleasure to have you on with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for being here. So, Doctor, we would like to know, what is HR analytics? Please tell us more about it.
Yes, HR analytics sometimes is also called people analytics. It is based on data-driven methodology on using HR's functions or human resources functions. Right. So it is based on collecting data, analyzing, interpreting these data in order to have and to give these managers a better decision and build a better strategies. So they use different tools, of course, to get these data, but it is very helpful in many different decisions based on the employees, sometimes also on the organizations. For example, employees recruitment. So when using data analysis, you will lean more towards the data rather than the traditional HR, where they rely heavily on personal intuition or subjective kind of assessment of these employees. Whereas in HR analytics, they use data in order to know, whether these employees have the potential to stay with them, and if they have a better kind of, let's say, resume and the skills and knowledge. And they will have, of course, a better decision in that regard. So it's not also about retention or employees recruitment, but it's also about making the better decision when it comes to HR human resources. So.
That's perfect information, Doctor. So as an HR analyst, you look at students or employees coming from different various sectors to join your company, and therefore you look at the data in between. Correct. Their experience, their CVs, where they studied, and how can their experience be implemented to your company.
Exactly. So that's what the HR analysts do.
Yes.
HR analysts usually they look at like the data again. They work hand in hand with managers and decision makers. They will use software such as statistical softwares, machine learning, big data, artificial intelligence. They use all these kind of tools in order to enable their managers to have a better decision. They will help them in making the right strategies for their organization. Actually, they will drive the organization to a better performance using the analytics, using the HR analytics.
That's very nice. Also, these analytics, when they are being used by the company, how can it benefit the company itself from using these analysis?
Oh yes, it has several benefits. One of them is to have a better decision making. So the decision will be based on data driven rather than on individual intuition or individual assessment or liking, let's say. So they will have also a better transparency. For example, if I'm a new employee and I want to, for example, apply to your company, instead of you liking me and hiring me based on what you feel or what you think, it will be totally based on data. Also, if you want to, for example, promote someone, they will have a better transparency of who to select out of these employees. So in other words, employee will have a better insight and they will have more trust in their company because they know it's not based on the liking of a person. Yes. It will be based on the data that they have. Also, one of the very important benefits is to have a personal planning for each of these individuals. For example, if I have some kind of skill gaps, lack of knowledge, etc.
Yes.
HR analytics will help me to identify these, faulties or challenges that I'm encountered at my work. So in other words, they will have a personalized programs and trainings for each of these employees. So it will save your cost, in other words. So instead of training these people on something they already know, usually in the traditional way, managers or employee will choose their training courses, right?
Yes.
But with the HR analytics, they will identify these areas and they will, custom made these trainings to suit their needs. So these are the most important highlights of the benefits of HR analytics.
That's great, Doctor. Also for the companies themselves to have an HR department is very important.
Exactly.
To select the right staff and to output employees in the right way that the managers want, and also the visions and goals of the company.
Exactly.
So you must have some barriers in between.
Oh, definitely.
And
yes.
challenges. Can you mention some?
Yeah, well, the most, the most highlighted challenge is the cultural barriers, or let's say cultural resistance. People, they don't accept change easily. It doesn't have to be in HR analytics. It can be in any different fields. Just the matter of change, people will resist it. So we have to introduce it just a little bit slowly to the culture of the organization. Another thing is technical skills. So many people will not have those skills in order to understand how to deal with these data. So if you have, for example, HR analyst in your company or in your organization, it doesn't mean that the managers will know how to deal with these data. So they need to be, trained and literated with these data, what to do with them, how to analyze them, how to read them, and how to use them for the benefit of the organization. Another challenge is also cost. I just mentioned costs with the benefit,
yes.
But that part is like what to train your employees and to have a personalized training. Whereas when you have HR analytics in your organization, you need to have a new software, you need to have updates, you need to have maintenance, and you need to train your employees to use these softwares. So it does have a little bit of cost, but it will have a better end result and impact, exactly, at the end of the day. Exactly. Other challenges might be legislations. Another challenges is the privacy and data protection. Some employees will say, well, what about my data? How am I supposed to save it? How can I, is it secure? Is it going to be used against me? Something like this, will make a little bit employees a little bit worried. Is it going to be leaked to other companies? Is it going to be hacked? And so on. So these are the disadvantages, unfortunately.
Yes, that's great. Dear viewers, don't worry if you're applying to any company, because usually human resource management protects your data and keeps it confidential all the way.
Yes.
So for companies, how can they use HR analytics nowadays with the recent technologies that are happening?
Yes, well, when you start anything new, it's better to start it small.
Yes.
So start with, for example, small project. If there is some kind of challenges, then try to tackle these challenges slowly, and in a small project, let's say. And then when you finish from one, move to another and try to introduce it to the employees and so forth. So start small. That's the number one. And then train your employees, give them the knowledge and the skills they need in order to deal with HR analytics. Another thing, involve stakeholders. They need to know about it. They need to have their say on how to implement these HR analytics in their organization. So it is a process. It starts with having a little bit of trial and error, and then moving from there all the way to have it advanced all the way throughout the organization.
That's great, Dr. Shaikhah. Also, I know a lot of friends are trying to apply to different companies nowadays in Kuwait, because the job openings are all over the place here in Kuwait.
Correct.
So for people who want to initiate a new company or start implementing new HR strategies, how can they benefit from HR analytics and include them in their company?
Okay, both companies and individuals will benefit from these technologies. So for the organization or the companies, at least they will be more assured of choosing the right people in the right place. So they're not going to use their personal intuitions, but they will use the data to see their resumes and to see if they are equipped to be in this certain kind of job. They will have a better assessment and so on. And it'll also be good for the employees themselves, because they will know they will not be unjusted, when they apply for their work. So in other words, having HR analytics in the organization will have a better transparency, the use of talent management also. Like if I want to promote a person, then I need to look at their background. How can they deal with problems? Are they creative with their work? Did they face, for example, situation? How did they cope with it, and so on? Are they able to learn? Are they, have a little bit of flexibility with their work, and so on. So with using HR analytics, it's barely using data all over the organization. It's not only, believe it or not, managing people, but it also involves managing your organization. Now, we all know that the most important role in the organization are the human resources. This is the most important source of any organization. So if you know how to deal with your sources, with the human resources, then it will be so much beneficial in the organization than going with again personal preferences or intuition to hire or to promote people. It will also develop individuals into being better individuals in terms of their proficiency. So it is very beneficial to have HR analytics embedded in any organization, honestly.
That's very great, Dr. Shaikhah.
Thank you.
So dear viewers, if you're applying to companies and jobs, don't worry. HR is the backbone of every company in Kuwait and all over the world. So they basically take your data, analyze it, and put you right to your job description and your qualifications. You do not have to worry about that. So also, dear viewers, we would like to thank Dr. Shaikhah Alainati, an Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Management at the College of Business Studies, Public Authority for Applied Education and Training. Thank you again for being here with us. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You're most welcome. So, dear viewers, now we'll take a short break and we'll be back. Please don't go away.